Hey everybody, my name is Alexis Marin and I am a registered drama therapist, a life coach, and a speaker. So let's talk about motivation. Let's talk about what drives you. Let's talk about what keeps you waking up every single morning to do the things that you do. And sometimes that's what gets you up every morning to do the things that you love to do. And sometimes it's what wakes you up every morning to get you up to do the things that you don't love to do, but you know that you have to do. So I tend to find that people fall into one of two camps. There's negative motivational factors or negative incentives, and there's positive incentives. For example, working out. Oh geez, we all have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with working out, especially during COVID. I know it's become an extra big challenge. But you need to think about when you're deciding, am I gonna go to the gym? Am I gonna go for that run? Am I gonna go down to the garage and do my yoga stretches today? It's not always our favorite thing. It's not always on the top of our list. And so when you're trying to make that decision, like, okay, should I go upstairs and put my yoga pants on to do what I need to do? What is the thought behind that? Is it a negative thought with a consequence, or is it a positive thought with a reward? For example, negative consequence would be, okay, so if I don't go running today, I am not gonna lose that extra pound and I'm gonna look super fat in that dress. Negative consequence, negative thought. Positive thought would be, I get to go running today, and when I do, it's gonna make me feel so good because it's gonna get my endorphins running, and I'm gonna get to sweat, and I'm gonna have all of these good feelings about myself, and I get to get outside and have a little sweat fest. So that first example was a very negative thought attached to something in the future, like looking horrible in a dress, where a positive influence would be, I get to go run, and I get to feel really good, and I get to sweat. Okay? Now, we naturally tend to think in one direction or the other. We naturally tend to think in a negative consequence mindset or a positive reward mindset. And even though that's something that comes kind of naturally to us, it is something that we can shift if you want to. Now, I'm not saying that negative or positive thinking in that way is better, one is better than the other, because sometimes it takes a little bit of shame or guilt sometimes to motivate people, and that's not always such a bad thing. But when you attach that to somebody else, whether it's a negative thought or a positive thought, when you attach that to somebody outside of yourself, then there starts to become this whole other layer of influence of motivation, and you get very attached to an outcome, and you can start to blame other people if the outcome that you desire doesn't happen. So if you notice, if I say, I'm gonna go for that run because it's gonna make me feel really good, and I'm the only person accountable to that, right? Or if I say, if I don't go on this run, my trainer is gonna be very disappointed in me, well then that's attaching an outcome to a person outside of myself. And then I may start to have even further negative thoughts associated with that, like, oh, well, you know, then my trainer is not going to want to train me anymore, and then that makes me such a really bad client. And then we just kind of go into this self-esteem, self-worth spiral when we don't really need to. When truly the healthiest motivation always should come from, I am doing this for me. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I see the benefit, not because I think I'm gonna get in trouble if I don't do the thing. When we imagine that somebody might be disappointed in us because we didn't do something, or somebody might be angry with us because we didn't do something, that tends to make us want to do that thing even less. There's this negative residue attached to it. Especially with the stuff that we don't really want to do, like chores. Like, oh gosh, if I don't unload the dishwasher, my mom's gonna be mad at me. Well, you know, you can switch that around and say, when I unload the dishwasher, my mom's gonna be super proud of me. And maybe there is even an extra bonus attached to that. Or maybe then my mom trusts me to do something else in the future. because you're laying the groundwork of doing these things from a positive place as opposed to this very negatively attached outcome piece. So my charge to you moving forward is, when you get up every morning and you're asking yourself, all right, self, what are we gonna do today and why? Really pay attention to how you answer that question for yourself. And is it because you have some amazing positive reward that you're allowing yourself to engage in? Are you actually operating from this place of fear and consequence and how you imagine other people may be disappointed or angry with you when you don't do these things? Once again, I'm not necessarily saying that one is better than the other because it works differently for everybody. But if you notice that thinking negatively about when or if you don't do something influences your relationships in a negative way, then maybe it's a good idea for you to pause for a second and think, is there a way that I can trick myself, even for a while, into thinking, this thing that I always don't want to do, I'm gonna find a really positive reason and reinforcement inside of myself as to why this is something I really want to do for me. So, what drives you, everybody? What is it? Dig down deep inside and figure out what is it that drives you. I hope it's something positive. And if it's not, I know that you have it inside of you to be able to turn that around. This is my sound advice for today. I hope that it touched you in some positive way, and I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.